Hey there! If you're watching this, you've probably purchased or are thinking of purchasing my Sonic character base. If you've never used a base, or maybe just aren't sure how to use mine in particular, you're in the right place. Disclaimer, if your hardware already struggles to run artwork with more than just a couple layers, you might want to skip this base. It's a very large file with over 220 plus layers, and you may end up with even more than that depending on how you choose to use the base. Please keep that in mind going forward, and we're set to start. First, let's go through what you get with this base. Starting with the bodies, you can see unlike most Sonic-type bases, I've included multiple body types. These range from your standard Sonic affair to some that are a little less common. Each of these comes with 3 chest options, the base, which is flat-chested, a small-chested option, and a large-chested option. As you can see, the body is actually separate from the arms and feet, allowing you to change those aspects independently. Speaking of feet, by default, you get those paw-like toes that have an optional claw. We also have a claw feet and a pair of cloven hooves. Going back up the body, we have 2 arms available, one with a larger forearm and another with a larger bicep. The difference can be subtle, but you can see the change when the 2 are overlaid. Hands also have their own additions. Just like the feet, the hand has a clawed version, some spike knuckle add-ons, or a mitten option. Moving on to the facial features, there's lots to choose from. 6 muzzles, including a beak, and freckles that work on all of them. 12 different eye shapes are available, with connected and separated options. As you can see on the eyelash layer, it's a drag and drop. There's only a couple layers of this kind in the base, so here's how to use them. Simply grab the eyelashes you like, selecting each one at a time, and move them over to where on the eyelid you want them. Depending on your program, you can either do it on the same layer or cut and paste each one onto a new layer. Speaking of eyes, there's 7 pupils, 21 mouths, 11 noses, 10 quills for the head, 18 ears, 30 hairstyles, most of which can be combined with other hair options and quills. And unique to my base, I've included a horn section. Any good Sonic base should include some fluff, and this section actually has more than just chest fluff, with some side pieces, fluff coming off of the face, and a cat head shape available in this section. Next up, we have a back section with 8 options, some glove types also with 8 options, a whole 26 unique tails, 9 accessory options with another drag and drop layer for some piercings, and finally, 10 shoes. To use the shoes, I recommend turning off the feet layers. The way this base is designed allows you to essentially bash any piece together to make a semi-cohesive design. I also recommend and encourage splicing together different pieces to create wholly unique designs. So, now that we've seen the options, well, what do we do with them? There's really no wrong way to make a character on this base. That said, I personally like to select all my options and then go back to each layer and erase the overlapping lines. Speaking of which, by now I'm sure you've noticed that not all these options fit super snugly together, and that's on purpose. Given how many variables and different body types are in this base, it would have been almost impossible to keep this customization while fitting them all together. So instead, each piece is drawn as its own object, so you can move things around to fit your liking, as you see me doing here. Once I got something I'm happy with, I turn off the background so the line work is transparent, then merge all the visible layers together into one cohesive piece. My program doesn't get rid of the rest of the layers, so I like to open a new file of the same dimensions to color my design. You can also accomplish this by saving the line work with a transparent background as a PNG, then opening that, no merging required. However, I want to be clear here, I seriously do not recommend finishing your design in the same file as the base. This is a huge file with a ton of layers. Not only is it hard to keep track of what's on what layer, but it can put a strain on your hardware. There's also a good chance you could save and overwrite your original file, which could limit the ways it can be used in the future. So, to overview, pick your options, merge, and open the line art to color in. It's super easy. Don't let your line work be a limitation for you either. Depending on how things are colored, it can change them a lot. I'm going to use the bat I just designed as an example of how filling in the base changes your perception of it. Plus, depending on how you save your design, you can even go back and add different variations of clothing, shoes, piercings, really anything to your character. I'm gonna draw my own clothing on top, but there are plans to make add-on packs for this base in the future. So whenever that happens, there'll be a separate video showing how to use them. And that's all to it, really. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't purchased my base already, a link to do so will be posted in the description. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for add-ons, shoot me a comment below or email me at contactroxyrogue@gmail.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and have fun with your new base. Bye!